Hello everyone and welcome back to Manor Lords. We're in a bit of a pickle. Well, I feel like I say that every time I start an episode. But what will happen very soon is winter. And in winter we will be in trouble when it comes to food. In addition, we need to get ahead of the game and start dealing with the barb cams. Played too much Civilization lately. So there's a outlaw camp all the way back here, and I'm pretty sure that in the next full year, our dear friend Hildewald will actually start to take this down, and we need to make sure that we're getting the prestige points or the influence points rather than him. So in order to attack that, we need, well, first of all, more people. And ideally, we get our manor kind of in place. Let me quickly pause. Because once we have our manor, we can also recruit our retinue, which I think will ultimately help with the attack. Also need to start getting our trade on the go, because with winter coming, and look how empty this fishing pond is. We'll probably need to buy some food over winter. All right, before I start, I'm going to make sure I'll set at least one seasons on game speed. Sure, that's all right. Set at least one person to run the forager hut, and he can just keep going. And then we, address all of the issues that I just talked about as quickly as possible. So first of all, we're going to continue our path over here and just connect it up with this road right there, and then just make sure that connection through there is done as well. All right, no particular reason, but I think it ultimately makes sense from a street planning point. Anyways, so when it comes to the trade, we have a couple of options, and I kind of hinted at what I'm thinking of doing. If we go into crafting materials, that's the stuff that is not necessarily essential for us to eat and stuff like this. We could also sell some construction materials, for example, the planks. That's one gold piece that we get every single time. But we do get the same amount from the clay. And I think having something that we don't actually need for our settlement right away, that we can just keep selling, makes a ton more sense. So I'm going to open this trading route, and I'm going to already set it to export everything. So whenever there's some clay, they should just try to export it. Also going to just keep moving that street forward. And again, just like before, just going to make sure that these connections are in place. They don't need to be perfect. Actually, if they're less perfect, that makes it seem a little bit more realistic, to a certain degree at least. All right, we're going to go ahead and place a clay mine down here. We still have enough space for another one should we want to build one like that. But on this road right there makes a ton of sense. So our settlers can actually start building that. And with that, we already started to create our income through our trading post. So good starting point, I would say. In addition to that, we also need to, like I said, plan ahead to build the manor. For the manor, we need 20 planks and 15 cobblestone. Now, we do have a stone deposit. As so small, but it is a deposit right here. It's definitely limited, but it should be enough for us to put a stone gatherer camp here and get all the initial stones that we need, in addition of clearing out this area from the stones to begin with. Okay, so with both of these, we're on our way to actually creating our income, as well as our future militaristic expansion with our manor. So while they are working on this, let me already go ahead and deal a little bit with the food. Now, there are a couple of options for food. Like I said, winter is coming, so we don't really have a lot of plantable material. Oh, the stone gatherer camp is done. Let me send one person in there. Mining pit is done. We're sending 2 people in there. Actually, just one. And then 1 in the trading post, just to make sure we can sell stuff as quickly as possible. All right, back to the food. So winter is coming, meaning our fish will disappear, our wild berries will disappear. So we need other food sources for our village. Trade is obviously one, but we can also utilize some of these backyard extensions. And since we do actually need a few more houses anyways, I think it will make a ton of sense to just place 2 of them right there. And then we can utilize some of these backyard extensions for some chicken as requested. So I'm hoping at least it'll pan out that this will give us enough food to, just keep going. Right, 2 people still in the construction area. That makes sense. Let's have a look. We could actually reduce the amount of workers in here, although we don't have a lot of timber right now. How's this looking? It's at least supplied. So let's have another look into our manor. We do actually have all the material for the manor already. So that tells me work area is empty. Okay, quickly pause you again. Gonna have a look at our fishing hut. I don't think you will actually fish anything anytime soon. So for now, we're adding another person into the mining pit, because the more resources we get here, the quicker we can sell stuff over here. All right. So back to the actual manor. What I was initially thinking is over here is actually a pretty nice spot to put the manor down. So if we are going to move our lumber mill, let's just place it a little bit further away, maybe just like here. Set this to the highest priority. We will actually have enough space to put our manor down. And I want to make sure that we're not placing it straight, onto the road, but set it a little bit back. That's the entrance. So we can actually expand around it whenever we want to. And I think along to this road crossing, to me personally, that just makes a lot of sense. So we're placing you right there. Now we could expand the manor, but because we're a little bit short on, well, everything, we're going to leave it as it is. But once we are at that point where we have a bit more resources, we can further expand everything. And I think ultimately that we can make that look proper for our little settlement. All right, I'm just going to commit it to that. Here you can edit the layout. Yep, blah, blah, blah. But like I said before, once it's built, we can always go back in and add more stuff to it, which we'll definitely will be doing. All right. So we're still in September. We have tackled a good amount of our stuff already. Not all of it. The house is in, however. So if we're going to go into the backyard extensions, we could actually buy some chicken. Now, vegetable fields, you need a lot more of a background area, so we're not going to do that. Animal pen could be kind of nice, but I think chicken, it provides eggs and chicken at the same time. And like I said, it was requested, so we're going to go for that as soon as we have the planks to spare, which hopefully shouldn't take too long. Okay, so still in September, we actually made a good amount of progress. Let's actually, in the meantime, have a look at the brigands over here. So, yeah, that's good. One good group of people, maybe 20, maybe a little bit less. So I do still want our army to be ready, as well as our personal guard to tackle all of this. Also gonna continue expanding our building areas for houses around here, and we're going to keep that relatively small, maybe just like that. add a path down the middle, just so people can cut through. Actually, we'll deal with that at a later time when we actually place a few more houses down. All right. We do have 3 open housing spots, so that's pretty good. And we can now build the chicken coop. So from what I understand, the amount of space in the bag once you have this extension doesn't really matter except for the actual plot. Oh, look at that. 3 chicken already running around. Very nice. Yeah, like I said, for this kind of extension, from what I understand, the backyard space doesn't really matter. So I'm kind of happy about that, because that should still give us all the production that we could possibly want. Still in September, I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit more. The first trader comes in. We have nothing in there. Storage is full in the warehouse, so we need to deal with that. We didn't actually get any regional wealth. Didn't we just have some? Wait, trade, clay. Why did it increase that? All right, go down to 0. I want to sell all the clay that we could possibly have. And we have not a lot of clay. I will add a 3rd family in here. And then I guess I could add a 2nd family in here as well, which we're gonna do. And then we're gonna look into upgrading the warehouse. Now we do need 16 planks for that. And this is kind of what the entire situation will keep looking like over the next little while. We'll end up with just not enough of stuff ever. We only have 4 months of food. I don't think we're actually currently getting any fish in there. We'll probably reduce the amount of fish here down to 10 and then let it rest the next year so it can repopulate itself. But, you know, one step at a time, one step at a time. All right. I don't quite know what the family in the church actually does. We could assign one of them, but having 3 builders right now might not be the worst, since we're trying to get the manor up and running. All right. Actually, I do need to add more logs in here. Like a logging family, just to make sure we're continuously getting the logs from our little forest area. All right. 2 more houses available. Oh, the chicken coop is in. Look at that. Very nice. I'm pretty sure the chicken will be happy. And we should also continue expanding our living situation. Because while we are really short on food, it hurts a bit to say, but we're going to try to keep our settlement fully growing, even if we don't have enough food to properly supply everyone. That will very likely mean that, unfortunately, some families will die. But with the food situation that we were dealt with on this map, we're kind of a bit in a desperate need. All right. So this is set up. You're still doing okay. Let's have a look. We can upgrade the warehouse, so let's do that as well. You have now 5 clay in here. Just waiting for the next trader to come. And there he is. Actually, 2 of them, seems. 3 of them. Wow. We're very popular. All right, let's see. We got 1 gold coin. Good. Trade is slowly coming around. All right. How is this coming along? I actually want to set this to the highest priority. I want them to finish the manor so we can hopefully in October recruit all of our armies and then start clearing out that bandit camp. Because even more so than the influence points, it will, I think at least, give us some money and maybe some food. I don't know about the food, but, you know, we'll see. However, I think it'll be very important that we actually get to that. Oh, there we go. Activate the taxes tab. Okay. That's the next thing we're actually going to do. We're going to raise taxes. We do have 77% of happiness, so we're gonna raise it to 20%. I could technically raise it to 30% for now. No, let's do 20%, so we have a little bit of wiggle room. And then we're gonna go into the army, and we're gonna recruit, hold on, the spear militia, because we do have the shields and the spears. So let's do that. Male villager will be evenly distributed. Okay. They will try to find. That's fair. Rally your units. All right. So now we're just gonna collect both of them. Actually, just over here. 5 of them, not a ton, but that will be enough. And then it's just regular combat. Select the units, and then select units with right mouse button. Yeah, we'll figure that out. How hard can it possibly be? Okay, it depends on many factors, stances, morale, fatigue, and effectiveness. That makes sense. So if we are gonna look into our spear militia, I think I want them to have a shield wall. And our retinue will just come along on the side. With both of these ready, we're gonna go ahead and go right for the enemy units. And we're not gonna get too close. I see that, or I've seen that way too often in other people's playthrough, where they basically run straight into the enemy camp, but we want the enemy to clash against our spearmen. That will absolutely help us defeat sort of the armies. A little bit more like the Roman Legion, so to speak. Why are you so fast? Yeah, I don't want you to run. Actually, we could just run. Let's go over here. Place our people right there. Sure, yep, there we go. And then cover more ground at the cost of fatigue and shield wall. Okay, so that doesn't actually work. Yeah, we do have enough time. So them just regularly walking should be okay. Right. Now we still haven't sold that much in our trading post. I guess that is okay. What else can we actually start to work on? We might have a bit more berries. Nope, no berries left. But with October now around, we're actually, like I said, gonna start fishing the pond until we are down to, let's say, 15 fish. That gives us another 22 fish for our people to eat and should hopefully raise our food supply to more than 3 months. Because right now we have basically 0 food income except for the chicken over there. And yeah, we definitely need to deal with that. Overall, I'm pretty happy that we are raising taxes now. It won't be a ton, but it will hopefully help us maybe even put another chicken plot in there. And, you know, that is always a good thing for us. Okay, let's see. Still not entirely sure why it continuously jumps back down to normal speed. I guess something is happening, and that's why it jumps back down. Maybe it's because I zoom out so much. But who knows? Alright, resources stolen. Really? Guys? We just started. Wait, storage is full. Stone Gatherer camp. Okay. But you should be able to store stuff in here. Anyways, so right now we're still making a good amount of money, another 8, and I think we can put another chicken coop in there. Don't go too far ahead, mates. So retinue is that actually what they're called? My personal guard is just so much faster. Alright, fatigue 5%, so that's not too bad. Cohesion, 21%. Yeah, that makes sense. Winter is approaching. That also makes sense, unfortunately. Alright. Wait. Oh. I was like, where's our other army? Okay, here we go. Send you over there. More treasury. This is our personal treasury, and we need that in order to actually buy or rent units. Okay, they are still there. What if we actually move over to this place? And I'm gonna slow this down. I think they will actually, yep, they will attack as we get closer. They have 18 units in there. And I want to make sure that our personal guard is actually moving a little bit to the side. I want to use them to flank the enemy. All right, hold on. You don't look like you're in a proper line. There we go. They are going straight for our spearmen. I do appreciate that. All right, and now we're gonna send our personal guard in as well. You were a bit far away, but overall I think it'll be fine. All right, here we go. Let's see how many units we're losing. I'm hoping we'll be okay. Look at them. There, oh, there we go. We have perfectly defeated the enemy. They're running away now. So we're gonna take our personal guard to disband the bandit camp, which will be quite useful. And our other unit we're sending back into our territory so we can put them back to work. All right. Overall, that wasn't too bad as a first battle, I would say. You might disagree. Like I mentioned before, we're gonna be in a rough spot for winter. So let's have a... Where am I? There. Let's have a quick look. We do have still 6 more pieces for stuff to sell in here. And we're close to the... We could actually just go for the other animal pen. But then we still need to buy the animals. You know what? Let's put a little bit of variety in there. Let's build the other animal pen. And I'm hoping by the time this is built, we have the money that we need in order to properly stock it up. Right, there we go. Personal guard has come in. New message. Let's have a look. When searching through the enemy belongings, stash of goods. So we could send it to the town or into our own treasury. I will send it to the town because I want, hopefully, there we go. Look at that. We actually get some food out of this. And we have regional wealth, which is perfect because that will allow us to expand the animal section once that backyard construction is done. And we can do more with that. But, you know, I think that is kind of one of the main points that we really need to do, ultimately. All right, let's put in another road through here. Because again, I think it just makes itself like fit perfectly. Also gonna connect this up over there. And then we can actually just set this side to be connected to the road as well. All right. In addition, what would probably be very useful is if we're adding a little bit more space here, or we could buy a horse. What if we buy a horse here? Then our trading post would be supplied much faster. That might actually not be the worst idea. So what did it say? 50 goods to be carried per trip and decreasing the time to reach trade points. Okay, let's buy a horse. More trade, faster trade, always a good idea. Livestock order placed. So that will be coming in, hopefully soon. And then we're still gonna expand our housing situation here. Now, we could almost put 4 houses in there. if I remove that piece, it would actually fit. What if I have a look at this direction though? 3 houses there, no backyard extension. Two houses with backyard extension. I wish there was a better way of figuring this out, optimizing this. Hold on. What is going on here? Not enough stable space. Where are we? Here we are. All right, which means we really just need to upgrade a stable. And you know what? Let's upgrade both. Then we definitely have enough stable space. All right, let's have a look where our armies are. Oh, they're still far, far away. I guess that's okay. This shouldn't take too long, especially since it's right next to the large storehouse. We don't actually have any planks in there. All the planks are still in here. All right. So let's see. We can buy pigs. A strong passive yield of pork. I like a strong passive yield of pork. Especially since we are trying to get to the point where not enough region. Wait, did I just lose the money and didn't get the horse? Oh man. I did not expect that. That is 60 gold pieces wasted. That should not be a thing. Honestly, that should not be a thing. Alright. Still have 45 gold worth of stuff. What we could actually look into is building a clay furnace. And we're not just going to look into that, we're actually going to do that. Because the clay furnace making the roof tiles will actually be super useful when it comes to our trade. Because roof tiles are worth 4 each. We do need 80 pieces of gold for that, but we'll definitely manage to get there. Oh, I'm still just bummed out that I just lost the money for the horses. Ah. I thought since it's showing up here, it would have its own stable space. Bummer. Right. Personal treasury increased to 9. That is fine. I will actually reduce the taxes for a little while. Because, again, with winter coming, yeah, probably good to keep enough happiness around so our people don't just run away. Well, they might still run away, but we'll see how it goes. It is December. It has started to freeze. We didn't catch all of them. I guess that is okay. Clay furnace has been constructed. We're gonna add, I guess we can actually add just 2 of them in there. Because we do have still 5 unemployed families. That's a good amount of unemployment that's going on. We still have some berries. Spoilage is high. That's not that great. I hope the chicken is producing okay. And I hope the pigs as well. Yeah, all they need really to be super happy is meats and fishes. What was it, the last one? Animal produce. So that should actually help out a ton. All right, still time for us to expand. Yes, we're gonna go all out crazy. Do I want to remove... No, I think this road just makes too much sense for removing it. I mean, we could add... Even, actually, if we move this one a little bit, even the tiniest bit, we should actually be okay, right? Yeah, remove you. I didn't mean for you to remove it all. All right. And then let's see if we're going from here to there. Okay, that's... Wait, didn't we potentially have 4 houses in there? That's 4. Oh. Don't quite know what happened. I'm going to add the road in here, again, just to sort this area out. And then we're going to have another look at our houses. If we're adding this in here now, look at that. That's actually 4 houses, easy peasy. But we don't have enough logs. That also kind of tracks. I will actually add a second logging camp person in here. Still in December, 2 months worth of food left. Don't quite know if we're gonna make it. However, we do actually have, I think, enough. Trying to build hunting camps? Yeah, you don't say. There is nowhere to put it. So what I was gonna say, I think we actually have still enough money to open up new trading routes. We could actually throw in the eggs and start selling them once we're a little bit better off. Ah, carrots actually sell for a ton. Too tempting to build too many things. All right, I think what we're gonna do instead here, call it an episode. So we're gonna deal with the rest next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.